President-elect Donald Trump made two more significant cabinet selections official today.
And both nominees are generating plenty of attention tonight.
KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryan has all the details on the Trump transition. Dave?
That's right, we have that. And our story tonight even has a little bit of California flavor to it. The nominations for Secretary of State and the Energy Secretary have triggered plenty of debate tonight. President-elect Donald Trump jumped into that debate, while Governor Jerry Brown appealed to President Obama for environmental help before Trump takes office. At a rally in Wisconsin Tuesday night, President-elect Donald Trump made it clear that removing restrictions on energy production will be a top priority, kicking off what could be a long brewing battle with California's governor.
On energy, we will cancel the restrictions on the production of American energy, including shale, oil, natural gas, and clean, beautiful coal.
Trump's announcement came just hours after Governor Jerry Brown sent this letter to President Obama urging him to ban offshore oil drilling in federal waters off the California coast while he still can. Never mentioning Trump, but clearly with an eye toward Trump's announced energy policies. I now urge you to use your authority to permanently withdraw federal waters off the coast of California from new offshore oil and gas leasing and guarantee that future oil and gas drilling in these waters is prohibited. Now is the time to make permanent the protection of our ocean waters and beaches from new oil and gas drilling. The skirmish comes on the same day Mr. Trump announced his nomination for Energy Secretary, former Texas Governor Rick Perry, who famously was so eager to close down the Energy Department that he couldn't even remember its name when listing the agencies he would shut down at a presidential debate in the 2012 campaign.
The third agency of government I would do away with. And let's see, I can't. The third one I can't. Sorry. Oops.
I think Perry's going to be a great fit for the United States.
The Texas Railroad Commissioner says Perry's background and experience in the oil industry will serve him well as Energy Secretary.
Look, we all want people who have real knowledge in these jobs, right? And so the fact that somebody has had some exposure to these things and who actually knows what's going on, we should value that, not denigrate it.
At issue are Perry's connections to two pipeline companies he reportedly sits on their boards, one of which is pushing to build the Dakota Access Pipeline, and its CEO reportedly contributed $6 million to pro-Perry super PACs during his runs for president.
So he is going to dance with the people who brung him, and the people that brung him at the federal level and here in Texas are largely the energy companies.
Perry, like several other Trump nominees, appears to be at odds with some of the core missions of the agencies they would be heading, like Health and Human Services nominee Tom Price, who wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act. The EPA nominee has filed suits against the Environmental Protection Agency over a laundry list of regulations. And the nominee for the Labor Department wants to repeal regulations guaranteeing overtime pay and worker safety rules. At the rally in Wisconsin, Trump doubled down on his nomination of ExxonMobil CEO Rex Tillerson to be the next Secretary of State.
Rex is one of the greatest and most skilled global business leaders of our time. Made some of the greatest deals ever made in the oil industry or any industry. A great diplomat. A strong man, a tough man.
The founder and executive chairman of Colony Capital, Tom Barrack.
Los Angeles-based real estate investor Tom Barrack, a longtime friend and campaign supporter, is the chairman of the Trump Presidential Inaugural Committee.
Rex Tillerson, I think, is a dream pick. And all of this controversy around his relationship with Russia is you need experienced warriors. Warriors who know where the hardware is. This man has negotiated, been a diplomat, run a business, and has relationships with all of those people.
But some Republican senators have expressed doubts about Tillerson's close relationships with Russia and Vladimir Putin.
Maybe those ties are strictly commercial and got to do with his business in the oil business, fine, but we'll give him a fair hearing.
Now, President-elect Trump is reportedly also nominating Montana Congressman Ryan Zinke to be the next Secretary of the Department of the Interior. Zinke served as a Navy SEAL for more than 20 years before running for Congress, and the Washington Post reports he frequently votes against environmentalists on issues ranging from coal mining to oil and gas drilling. Lena?